Hello, world. Welcome to another episode of Golf Subpar. Colt Knost and Drew Stoltz. And now it's time to open up the mailbag. Producer Mark, what do we got this week?
This one comes in from Bob's Bar on Instagram.
I like him already.
He wants to know who's the best combination of drinker and golfer at your guys' club, Whisper Rock.
Ooh.
Well, for me, that's a pretty easy answer, to be honest, Sleazy. The guy's very, very talented. Finished runner-up in the U.S. Amateur back in the day to Danny Lee, and that's my man, Drew Kittleson. The man can drink transfusions all day and shoot 65 every time he tees it up, it seems like.
God bless that man. One of the best talents I've ever seen to not play on the PGA Tour. Even to this day, the way he hits driver off the deck, sends it, and he can absolutely hold his own in the drinking category as well. I'm going to go with a guy here. I'll try to give a tour player that I think does a good job of doing both, and I don't think I'll get any argument from you here. I'll go with Graham DeLette. It's been a while since he's been healthy enough to get out there and play, but when he was, and it's a couple of weeks off and he's got a little free time, Graham ain't afraid to toss a few back and also go out and play some really good golf. I'll throw Graham DeLette in the mix as like the tour player that's the best.
I'm kind of offended
player combo.
You didn't pick me.
You're former tour player, and yours is not a secret.
He doesn't say that.
Well, I'm offended you didn't pick me. Should we just pick ourselves?
Kittleson's
Let's do it over, and I'll
Kittleson's
just
better
pick you. Yeah, that's true. At golf, he is.
All right, well, thank you for the questions. Look forward to those. Keep sending them in to Golf Subpar. All right, Sleazy, well, it's time to get into some funny money stories, and we have a great one from this weekend where you may or may not be the world number one.
Yes, Colt, thank you so much. Nicest thing you've ever said to me. There was a long time there in my illustrious Jicky Jack career where I doubted myself. Didn't know if I would ever get to world number one when I was at the Northeast Southeast Kansas Invitational Open. But this weekend it happened. You and I teamed up against the great John Rahm, Kevin Chappell, took them down hard, touched me one time on that, destroyed them. But in a little individual match, myself versus current world number one John Rahm, just clipped him by a shot. You know what I mean? And I'm not a numbers guy, but if you're number one and you beat the number one, where do you go to?
Number one.
That's it. So huge day for me.
It was a very impressive day.
Very impressive day.
Hopefully we didn't destroy the confidence of John Rahm. We'll see what happens this week in the FedEx Cup playoffs, but you might want to fade him for a little bit until he gets his confidence back. He doesn't love losing, whether it's for $10 or it's the Sunday of the Masters. My man does not like to lose in golf. No, he doesn't. He actually threatened to drop his Whisper Rock membership because things were not going his way. But
the course design sucks, everything.
I loved how things turned out. Our wallets got a little bigger. Mm-hmm. Your head got a little bigger, which didn't know was
hard
possible.
To believe.
But it was a lot of fun. Sorry, John and Chappie.
I loved it through 9 holes. Like at the end of 9 holes, our team was leading. I'd beaten John by 1 on the front. You shot 400, he shot 400, I shot 500, and you come to me on the 10th fairway. You're like, dude, no matter what happens on the back nine, we are talking about this on the pod. I was like, yeah, 100%. If I shoot 52 on the back, we're talking about this front nine where we put the wood to them.
We got rained out in August in Arizona.
Yeah, I was like, dude, you guys feel that? Felt like lightning. Let's call this thing.
All right, well, let's get to our special guest of the week, and that is our man Ricky Barnes. And what a fun interview this was.
Dude, this one was fun, man. I mean, I think it's easy to forget because it's been so long now what a big deal he was coming out of college. Like, he was the it kid. Won the U.S. Amateur like yourself, came out, gets paired with Tiger Woods at the Masters, beats him head-to-head, and then the floodgates open, and he's got some unbelievable, some really, really good stories.
Yeah, and I don't want to spoil any of them, so let's just get right to it. Here's Ricky Barnes on Golf Subpar.
We now welcome on the pride of Stockton, California, longtime PGA Tour player, and the only man to ever win the U.S. Amateur while wearing a button-up Tommy Bahama shirt on the 30% off rack, Mr. Ricky Barnes. How we doing, brother?
Good, you boys?
By the way,
fantastic.
Fellow U.S. Amateur champ.
I know, dude. I knew this
deal.
was going to come up, and I was like, God damn it, they're going to talk about both winning.
I wish we had the trophies sitting here right now. That would have been. We actually, God, why do we not bring it and both drink out of it?
This is just going to be a little party between you two, and I'm like, fuck.
And we do have a friend in town that has one and bought
true.
one.
Yep.
We should have just gone and taken it.
I know we should have.
Ever heard of the Colorado Am? It's a lot like the U.S. Am, but it's only one state, so.
No big deal.
Checkmate.
A lot of legends from there.
Checkmate.
By the way,
a lot tougher courses than Oakland Hills and Olympic.
Dude, you would have no chance around Lakewood Country Club.
You mentioned the pride of Stockton, by the way. That's a very high honor considering the Diaz brothers are from there. And also Ed, Toronto Blue Jays guy.
Ed Sprague Jr.
Ed Sprague. There he is.
Old Eddie
yes.
from Stockton.
Well, that's the trivia question I think I told the boys. Who's the only player to ever win a World Series, a college World Series, and an Olympic gold medal?
Really?
Yeah,
Ed Sprague.
Ed Sprague Jr.
Stockton Cal?
Stockton Cal. The
Stockton
209,
CA?
baby.
Damn, you guys do put out some dudes. Diaz's are from there. You ever run into the Diaz boys when you were running around there?
No, they're a little younger. And then, a good buddy of mine does kind of like jiu-jitsu and goes to his, I guess, gym academy.
I feel like Nate would be really big into golf.
They seem like golfers,
but different.
Yeah. Surprised they don't play your charity event up there.
Yeah, you go there once, and like Colt and all the rest of the boys that have come and help support the charity event, they're like, preppy white golfer coming out of Stockton. Yep, no, that doesn't check all the boxes.
Yeah. I've been there several times. I've had a blast every time. I'm normally really hungover trying to play. Real quick story. The first time I went and played Ricky's charity event, we were coming from Las Vegas, and Ricky had a plane for us set up. I was in one of the last groups, actually playing well in Vegas somehow. Yeah. Finished double bogey, triple bogey, Sunday to finish 12th. Okay?
The old double, triple finish.
Rough start, or rough finish.
Yeah.
Sorry. I am obviously not happy. Pull up to the plane. There's a flight attendant standing outside with a tray and a shot. She goes, I think this is for you.
Did you have that queued up for him?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone did.
Yeah.
We didn't even say anything to him. He took the shot, took another one. Where's my drink? All right, you guys can take off now. So then the plane
Well,
left.
I didn't even get down in my seat, and Charlie Hoffman goes, nice finish. I mean, couldn't even wait. But anyways, I mean, we drink all night, just hammered. Show up the next morning. We're doing a clinic at like 8 a.m. In the range, there's not a ton of grass, a little sandy. And Ricky, knowing I'm just hurting over there, he goes, Colt, why don't you show us how to hit some fairway woods off the ground? And I'm over there just shaking like, oh, God. But it was a blast.
It was fair enough. We played gin until about midnight, and it was 10:30 the clinic.
Well, after finishing double bogey and triple bogey and taking about 100 shots, it felt like it was
I was gonna say
6 in the morning.
The one shot ain't gonna take off the sting from double triple finish. That's I thought there might be a bottle sitting there, but nice of you guys to have that queued up for my
Let's get into it though. 2002 U.S. Amateur Champ at Oakland Hills. By the way, you played 6 people in match play. 5 of them played on the PGA Tour. You know, me and your brother were talking about this. Like some guys can coast through and get lucky with who they play. You played some studs.
Yeah, I think it was 5 years ago or 4 years ago. If you look, 5 of the 6 guys that I played were on tour all at the same time. And like you said, and the biggest stat of that whole thing, 312 guys I think start the U.S. Amateur. That's 2 of the guys that played in the stroke play event met in the finals, and I can guarantee you that's never happened again.
Oh, wow.
I played with Hunter Mahan in the stroke play event at Oakland.
You guys got paired together in the stroke play?
In the stroke play.
And then that's who you beat in the finals, right?
Yeah, and we were probably both, top 5.
I was say you had to be favorites
going into it.
Yeah, sure.
And usually they don't kind of do that. They spread you out and play with other AMs or mid-AMs or, juniors, it seems like. And, played the stroke play event together, met in the finals.
That's
Crazy.
wild. You guys shared didn't you share the Hogan Award? Was it the year before that or the year after? The following year?
Yeah, so you go there and when's that tournament? March? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so then we shared it in March the following year. That November with DJ Cherryhand, we won the World Amateur in Malaysia. Speaking of hot.
Oh, man. Been there.
Yeah, enough said.
Yeah. That's wild. Was Hunter your I know that's who you beat in the finals. You guys were kind of the 2 guys coming out of that class. Was he your main, quote-unquote rival? I'm sure it sounds like you guys were friendly, but...
He was a year younger. It was really weird because that whole summer, I say whole summer, you play 3 big events. My parents let me go play in. You play in the Western, you play in Porter Cup, you play in Northeast Amateur, and then if you get into the U.S. Amateur, you're lucky enough. And I was hanging out with Bill Haas that whole summer. We would hang, and the Players Cup, or is that what it's called? Players Am in Southern California or in South Carolina.
Players Am
at Belfair. I couldn't think of the name. And we hung out, did and then I met Bill in the semis. And if you're 21 years old, you're playing in the U.S. Amateur, and you win the semis, you're like, I'm going to Augusta. It's almost like a weight off your shoulder for me going into that final round. And then I beat Bill on the 18th
Bill
hole.
was a beast in college too.
Bill was, and they were both a year younger than me, Bill and Hunter. Yeah. And I had 2 big match play events coming up. And the other guys that I'd play was Brett Stegmeyer, who's been on tour, played Daniel Summerhays, who was a really good U.S. junior. Oh, yeah, Spencer Levine in the quarters.
You played Spencer in the quarters?
Yeah.
Dude, wow. You knocked out some boys.
That's some players, dude.
Yeah. And then Bill and Hunter, who were the probably 2 top guys the year behind me in college. And if you look at the 2 studs coming out, Wake Forest, Oklahoma State, there they were, and I played semis and finals versus them.
Who was better at throwing clubs, you or Spencer Levine?
Oh, Spence.
Not
hat
even.
kicking
Well, I
around
heard
me. Come
you
on.
had some history throwing some clubs.
Hitting the bag.
Hitting the bag.
Hitting the bag.
I heard at the USAM you won. The putter missed the bag, and you almost had to play a couple holes without the putter.
On second round match, stroke play.
Mm-hmm. Threw it at the bag and missed?
Second round, yeah. On the North course.
Threw the
That's
putter
so
at the bag.
weird, dude, 'cause-
it went a little ways away towards the gallery, and Andy just kept on going.
There was no gallery.
Oh, really?
Let's be honest.
Well, towards the gallery rope.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's weird because you live out here. We played infinite rounds of golf together. You are a not get angry. I never see the angry. So maybe you got over that. But that was you back in college. You were a club thrower guy.
Just competition. We're all fierce competitors and heat of the moment stuff, right? I mean, not that I've gotten much better with it, but family, everything else, and then get into competitive golf, and then looking at people that you looked up to play in professional sports and how they act. I feel like, because even early on in my, professional career, I've gotten pissed and cursed and threw a club or slammed a club. But yeah, college, I think it's just one of those things you do it and you're like, why the fuck did I just do that? Hopefully
it doesn't help.
No, you can't.
No, you can say it.
And you're just like, you're so mad, but that wasn't the way I should have done it.
You think it looked cool back in the day when you're younger, I feel like.
Dude,
now you're like, oh my God, I'm like an idiot.
You beat the bag and it makes a huge echo. And you're like, oh shit, I should.
If your ping hoofer bag didn't have like a big
like
stand, you weren't that cool.
If it wasn't shaped like the letter S, I was like, this guy's nothing, dude. He's never
He's
even.
soft.
He sucks. He's not even a competitor.
Yeah, he's the number 5 player.
Yeah, nobody was better than Spence. That's why people love Spence even on the PGA Tour because he's got the one of him punting his visor. Dude, it's an all-time iconic meme or whatever you call it on
number
the
11 at Aronimink. I'll never forget.
He was the best. I played with him at a tournament. He was in the group in front of me at Tucson National, your spot down in Tucson. We're playing the tournament. He was last off in his group. I was playing right behind him, so we're talking before, having a good time. He gets up there. We're playing the same group. First hole, he hits it right down the middle, plugs it in a bunker, makes a double bogey, takes the flag, javelins out his bag. He misses his bag, but then he gets it and starts beating his bag with the pin. Goes and puts it in, takes his visor off on the bridge on 2, crumples it up, throws it down in the thing. Plays 36-hole day, by the way. We're playing together. Wears no visor in Tucson. It's 100. Plays 36 holes, plays the rest of the 35 flawless. He's in like second at the end of the day. But did the meltdown on one hole, first hole, I was like, dude, this is the best shit I've ever seen in my life.
The fairways that Spencer Levine and Colt Knost can hit together are pretty amazing. It's kind of just that flat roller.
Yeah.
Moves 3 yards each way. And I kind of knew it because I grew up. He was in Elk Grove, Sacramento area. I was in Stockton. And that course, I felt like if I drove it well, I ended up playing in the USAM, then I had the advantage. Kind of take it over some corners and stuff like that. It was a long course, but I mean, Spence was a good player, but man,
it was so good, so good. Where is that shirt though? We talked about that shirt. The Hawaiian shirt made big news. So you had the copper top head at the time.
I just played Rocket Mortgage, and I always get the question, "Where's the shirt?" And I went and stayed with my host family that hosted me during the US Amateur, and it's there.
You still have it?
It's at Oakland Hills.
Oh, it's there. It's like in the display.
At the golf course. So they have like all the major champions. They consider USAM as a major champion. And they have all these like slots. Jack Nicklaus, Palmer player.
Barnes.
Steve Jones. All the guys that won there. And yeah, so Barnes is my picture, my shirt, and then the trophy.
Did you have that one saved up? Like, this is my final shirt. I cannot wear this unless I get to the finals.
And then I packed it in the bag because I made the finals. And I was like, in the morning, and it was getting kind of hot in Michigan that afternoon, and I played the morning round, played solid. I think I was 1 or 2 up, and I went in, took a shower, came out to eat lunch, and had the shirt on.
I'll never forget it. Like, I had no idea who you were back. Like, we didn't know each other back then. I mean, that was 2002. I was in high school, but I remember watching, and I'm like, who the fuck is this guy?
Dude, it looked like Jimmy Buffett fucked Eminem, dude.
Yeah.
That's what it
and I knew Hunter
like,
Mahan from being from McKinney around Dallas, so I was kind of rooting for Hunter, but I'm like, what the fuck's this clown?
Now it's
and
the
this
meme.
shirt.
It's Jimmy Buffett meets Ellen DeGeneres.
I love it.
Oh, that's good too. Yeah, I like that.
New meme.
Right, let's go back to the beginning though, with your childhood, because you don't have many nicknames. I mean, Barnesy, whatever, Rick, none of that. But a lot of people call you Snacks from your childhood. Can you explain that a little bit?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Well, you saw what I brought in, a Yeti, but I was a big boy. If I had my phone right now, and I can honestly show you a picture.
I got it.
From today.
With your approval, it would go on the internet.
So I've been working the last 6-8 months with Boyd Summerhays. Boyd Summerhays made a post today on Instagram.
Yeah, I saw it.
So he didn't really know. So I said, hey, I texted him on the side, I might be able to one-up you with this picture. And I sent it to him, and he sent me 2 35-second voiceovers that is just laughing and laughing, laughing. He's like, are you kidding me? Please, please, please let me post this and tag me in it. And I haven't done it yet. But so I'm known as Snacks. I'll never forget. Actually, I'm at my brother's wedding, and Rick LaRose is the college coach. He had my brother Andy for 4 years, and he had me for 4 years. And I ended up winning my senior year Athlete of the Year. So he gets up there, and LaRose came to visit my brother, and I'd have been 14 or 15 years old, going in to be a freshman. Andy's going to go be a freshman in college. And he gives me, and he comes in the house, and he surprises me, and I'm like, changing my shirt, but I have my underwear. I'm going to, so he's at my brother's wedding, and he's announcing, he's like, yeah, this, that, and, so happy for you to meet Erica and get married today. And, your younger brother when I first saw him. And now he's carrying this over to the senior awards banquet. And the first time I ever met Ricky was when he was 14 or 15 years old. And the only thing he was winning was the Snickers Olympics. And the whole place, there's, whatever your athletic facility holds and everything. And they burst up laughing. And if you saw my 7th and 8th grade graduation pictures, you would know why. That's, kind of always, I know you guys answer this question. What would be the biggest 2 things that people didn't know about me? I was very overweight as a kid. I was the biggest, fattest kid on the offensive line when I was a freshman in high school. Left tackle. I lost 70 pounds in 6 months. Wow. Became a tight end. Starting getting in the gym, working out, eating a little healthier. And
a little healthier. 70 pounds in 6 months.
Yeah.
I
But
feel
then
like
I
you and
grew
I
2
switched
inches.
roles. Like I was a skinny kid and then grew into this.
I made you look like Justin Thomas back in the day.
That is awesome. Well, that leads me to my next one because you were always a great athlete. You said you played football, you played soccer, Little League. People around Stockton say you hit around 700 in Little League. And you were also famous for turning doubles into singles.
If it didn't clear the fence, it was a single.
I will say, I am that kid. I was like Jeff Foxworthy. How fat were you? I got thrown out at first base from right field. That's how fat you
He got
were.
a single on
awesome.
ground rule doubles. It bounced over the fence. No, dude, I'm stopping at first. I'm a little winded. Just give me a single.
And props to my parents when I was a good, like I said, I could kind of rake, good hand-eye coordination. And freshman year, guy calls me, golf and baseball in the same season in California. And baseball coach calls me. Hey, Rick, I saw you're not signed up for tryouts. Coach, kind of talked to my parents. I think I'm just going to play golf. Really? He's like, let me do you a favor. What days are golf? I'm like, Tuesday, Thursday. He's like, perfect. Baseball's Wednesday, Friday. He's like, come out to tryouts, play in the games, come to practice when you can. Hang up the phone as a 14-year-old. Mom, Dad, Coach Hall said that you can go, play
both.
Play both. No, Ricky, you're not that kid. Sorry, Coach. He's like, hey, but you just played, the whole year, played Babe Ruth and All-Stars. We made it to like sections or whatever it was of Northern California. You batted, it was something crazy, 580 or something like that, 620. Mm-hmm. And he's like, you got to play, first baseman, so-and-so's this. And I was like, Coach, my parents did it. And then now I look back on it, you're like, could you imagine like that kid that doesn't come to practice, gets to start pitching and start at first base? At the time, you didn't grasp it. And then by sophomore, junior year, I was like, okay, now I know my parents didn't think.
I didn't have any coaches from other sports asking me to come play anything else.
It's the basketball coach,
Yeah.
Colt. I think we can make a nice power guard.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'll just stick
Mark
to golf.
Jackson, play with your back to the basket. What prompted like the whole 70 pounds in 6 months? That ain't by accident. What prompted all that? Was that you saying, hey, I want to get skinny, or was that like your parents or somebody else saying you need to lose weight?
No, I kind of contributed to 3 things. So my mom was a big health nut. Colt's met my mom, but my mom's like really into fitness. My mom was a school teacher. She ran 5.5, 6 miles every morning growing up. I'd show up to school and 6 or 7 people, I saw your mom running this morning. But my mom always had healthy stuff around. But my thing was just overeating, right? Like you'd go get a plate and then you'd come back and get a half a plate, whatever. So prompted, you get into high school. I hit puberty late. So probably the girl influence was a little bit athletic and getting slower, getting thrown out at first base in 8th grade, hitting, a gap shot to right center, and they're still throwing you out at first base. You get in, you need a puffer to get to second.
Get some oxygen.
Yeah. A little bit of that. And then I think just realizing what I needed to do, and so I always tell people, how'd you do it? Well, I just really disciplined in eating. And then when you got home for dinner, eat whatever my mom cooked or dad cooked, put it on one plate, and when you were done, I went and brushed my teeth. After you brush your teeth, you really don't feel like having another drink.
Everything tastes like shit after you brush your teeth.
And that is just discipline. So then it just kept on going, and 235 became 215, 215 became under 200. And before I know it, I was like, okay, healthy lifestyle, working out, and it was just as much kind of working out, everything. But it wasn't an outlier. It wasn't like, hey, you're not in the in crowd, try to get in crowd because you're fat and trying to get skinny. I mean, I was playing 3 sports and I was starting at 3 sports. So, it wasn't like, hey, he's the last guy on the bench trying to get called in. Hey, he's starting on the football team. He's an unbelievable, baseball player, golfer, basketball player. Like I did all the main sports. So it was just mainly like a lifestyle thing. And I think growing up, I just know what I needed to do probably to get to the next level now that I look back on it.
And now you're a freak. I mean, we played pickleball for the last 2 hours just today, and it's 115 in Scottsdale. It's 130 on the pavement, and you're the only dude after one game. It's like, all right, I'm ready. Let's play a second one. We're like, dude, nope, need oxygen, need an IV. We'll meet you back out there. Ricky's like, let's go. Let's play another one. Now you're an absolute monster. So that's a pretty incredible transformation. But, dude, we got to talk about the Masters because we're talking about the U.S. Amateur. You win it. Obviously, one of the perks of that is you get paired with the reigning champion, and when you got paired with it, the reigning champion was a guy named Eldrick Tiger Woods, and you go to Augusta and have an unbelievable showing with Tiger. And I feel like that's kind of when you're like fame. That's when I started to learn about you. I was going to school in TCU at the time. I didn't know you personally like I do now, but that's when it all took off. And you go show up on the first tee and you're playing with Tiger Woods. But talk a little bit about that Masters and what that was like, because you had some cool experiences in that.
Yeah, so I win the AM. I go, and everything kind of blended together, right? So I win it I win the US Amateur going into my senior year. Then I go to Malaysia for the World Amateur. We win. Early November, I play in the Tucson Open, and I finished like top 14 or top 16. I'm there, probably 6 shots off the lead or whatever, but I'm there. Go into April, and I'm paired with Tiger Woods, and go out that first round. Walk across the street, get on the putting green. Obviously, I haven't met Tiger yet, but I feel like I played 9 holes with Arnold Palmer before they play their big par 3 contest, and I seriously think I was just as nervous teeing off with, I think it was Arnold's last or second to last Masters with him, and I'm on the first tee, and they're lined up 10 folds down the fairway on the first tee, and I get to play with Arnold. So I was just as nervous that day as I think the next day playing with Tiger. But Tiger came over the putting green. Hey, Rick, how's it going? I look forward to today. Maybe settled me down a little bit. And, it's a blur. I mean, Colt can kind of tell you. You get there.
No,
think
I
it's
can't.
Colt passed.
I didn't go, remember?
I know.
Colt said, nah.
I'm taking jabs at the host. That's not fair. Okay?
Yeah,
This is our show.
It's
we
going to
take
get
jabs
bloody.
at you.
Yeah, it's going to get bloody.
Remember, I got a lot of dirt right here.
I'll be here. I know. No, so I shoot 69 the first round, and that kind of settled me down.
But Tiger shot 76, by the way. Don't
you beat him by 7.
Yeah. It's kind of a blur. You're staying in the crow's nest. You're hanging out with everybody.
We're going to get to that.
Okay. And it was just such a fun time. The course did set up good for me. I was kind of a long hitter back in college. I liked the draw fit my eye. I don't draw as much as that, but that fit my eye. And I felt comfortable out there for the most part. And I never forget, my brother said a quote. I think it was after the second or third round. I was in like second place or something like that. And my brother's like, yeah, he's just stupid enough that he could win this thing.
There you go.
That's brotherly love.
And I'm like watching the TV, and I think like there was a quote on it in like the local Augusta TV instead of like ESPN or someone else Golf Channel that was covering it. And I'm like, God dang, man, he's probably right. But we're sitting up there, and my college roommates somehow got the room to the crow's nest number, and it's like 11:40. I'm just coming in, as you know, and the phone rings, and I'm like, "Well, who's calling?" And he's saying, "Hey, Rick," because it's only 8:40 on the West Coast. "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm about to go to bed." He's like, "Oh yeah, just seeing, who let you through?" It's like, "Oh yeah, we got the number." And this is back in 03.
03. Yeah.
Like, who's letting you guys call the crow's nest to get up to? I mean, I guess they didn't know that Ricky Barnes was staying there. And it was my college roommate Ricky Anderson back in, we were on like a top 3 University of Arizona basketball team, but it was fun. And I parlayed it into playing the U.S. Open with him. And I feel like there's something when people do play. I've had a good track record playing with Tiger, is that the ambiance and the way they maybe line the fairways with him or set the stage with him, that it's almost like I understand why he plays well all the time. Like, you have to get super focused with 35,000 people watching you on a Thursday at a normal tournament.
See, Sleaze, You're as talented. You just didn't have the
I
gallery.
didn't have the galleries,
If
dude.
you
That was
had-
my one issue, bro.
Yep.
Thank you for acknowledging that.
You're welcome.
Because that was
We're
the
a
one
team.
thing holding me. The jickeys, I was like, oh, there's a maintenance guy up there. I got to hit a good shot. I'm freaking out.
The guy didn't even put the pin back in.
No, dude, they were like mowing the greens while I was trying to hit my approach shot. I was like, oh,
But
dude, I'm
going
freaking
back
out.
to Augusta, you were in the next to last group on Saturday with Phil Mickelson.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I was going to comment on. So I go Tiger, Phil, twosome.
Arnie
on Saturday.
practice round. Arnie, Tiger, Phil.
Arnie practice round. And I was literally telling these guys where I live in the summer at Martyrs Camp, and they were asking kind of master stories or, hey, this guy told me this story about you. And I go, you can't make that up. I literally went Wednesday, we skipped Thursday, but like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Arnie with VJ, actually. VJ joined us like the last 6 holes.
Scrub.
Artie, VJ, Tiger, Angel Cabrera, legend. Phil Mickelson, and then another legend Sunday, Chris Riley.
Wow.
The best.
Just the top.
That might be at the top of
cherry
the
on
list,
top.
I know.
Chris Riley.
Fastest round ever.
Yeah, you won't be on the clock with Chris Riley.
Never.
But what were those nerves like Saturday being in the next to last group? I believe you're tied for third. I mean, you're right in this thing. Mike Weir had a big lead, but you're a shot out of second.
So I ended up making the turn. I shot 1 or 2 under on the front 9 with Phil, and I was 2 off the lead in second place alone, or tied second after, 45 holes.
Mm-hmm.
Par 10, par 11, pins dead middle on 12, hits over the bunker, kicks forward a yard, you got an 8-footer, comes back in the bunker, hit it to the back fringe, 3-putt double.
Eesh.
So I make double on 12 without hitting into the water. Don't make a birdie on the way in. I think I make another bogey and, turn a, let's just call it a 70, give or take, into like a 74. I think I shot on Saturday. So I went from being in second place or third place, because guys make birdies on 13, 15, whatever, into, I think, like 18th going into Sunday. Kind of, not that it took the wind out of my sails, but taking the wind out of winning. Because let's say if I was 2 off the lead, you shoot even on the back or 1 under. Let's say I'm 3 out of the lead, or 4. Like, there's always a chance. And amateur, you got nothing to lose. And I was driving it unbelievable. I was, converting on everything. Meaning, if I was up near the green, I was either getting up and down for birdies or converting on, 12-foot, 15-foot, or closer, on the green. And it sucked, but I tell you what, it was awesome. And then I carried it over to the next 2 times that I finally got back as a pro. That course fits my eye. I've played well there. I think my worst finish is 20th or 21st. And
You should play there more often.
Give me an invite.
Get a
Sponsor
sponsor.
exemption.
Sponsor into that thing. Talk about the Crow's Nest though a little bit, because that's where all the amateurs stay. It's guys are in there. I'm assuming they're getting tucked in early, laying out their outfits for the next day. But one night in particular, because I know you've told me this story, you decide you need to go out and get a little taste of the Augusta nightlife, and eventually end up potentially maybe hopping the fence at Augusta National to get back in. Just go through that, because that's a gnarly story.
Well, you trying to get him never invited back again?
I want to know who knows.
This one
about
won't
this.
get me in trouble, but
He's told this. It's okay.
so Okay, so I'm heated Saturday night. My family has a house off property. So I drive the car, go have dinner with them, but we were finishing so late. So I just hopped in. So Saturday night, like I said, kind of went out of the sales, didn't finish right. I come back. The British amateur champ, Alex Larothabal, had just got back. Pablo on the European Tour's brother, older brother, he won the British amateur. And he comes back, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, dude, I need to blow off some steam. Let's go out. All right, so we go out. So we go out to this. I've told Drew this, is that go out to this. There's like 2 bars there.
Yeah.
So we go to one. He's like, what are we going to do? And there's 15 people in line. I'm like, hey, do you have your pass? I'm like, what? I'm like, you got your ID and your pass to get into Augusta this week? He's like, yeah. I'm like, give it to me. So I go up to the front of the line and I say, hey, we're playing in the tournament this week. Can you let us in? He's like, oh, Ricky? I'm like, yeah, no, my buddy Alex right here. He's like, oh, yeah, come in. So he lets us right in.
Perfect.
So we go in there, have a great, fun night Saturday night. Next night, got to skip a few details on that night. Sunday night, I go out, family's there, hang out, and I end up getting home that night. I think I cabbed it home or something Saturday night. But anyway, Sunday night, same thing. Go out. I end up getting low amateur. I'm eating with Mike Weir, his family, my parents at the Champions Dinner because they let you go.
Wow.
He picks the wine, but you get to go have dinner with the low amateur gets to eat with them.
Did not know that.
Yeah. Well, if you would have gone, you
Yeah.
would have won.
Exactly.
True.
So we go do all that thing. So we go out. So there's a bar just down the road again, and we go out. So now I'm just with like my family and my cousins, and we're drinking. Well, we look down and it's 1:30 a.m. or 2 o'clock. I'm like, all right, we got to go. I'm flying home the next day, going to go back to normal college life. And I get back to the front gate and get dropped off. The gate's closed. Nothing. I'm like, oh, what's going on? So I'll never forget it. I look right, I look left, and I'm like, here we go. Hop the brick stone wall, get over.
Wow.
And I am,
Good.
I'm absolutely wasted, yogging down Magnolia Lane, thinking that someone is going to
Shoot you.
So I walk in, and the lady's there, and I'm out of breath. And she's like, what do you do? I'm like, the gate was closed. She's like, oh, yeah. Sunday nights, we close it at whatever, midnight. I was like, oh, I wish I would have known that. I just ran down Magnolia Lane. She's like, okay. So the best part of the story is I go upstairs, and they'll kill me for saying this, but Alex is the only one still there, and it's only us two. And we're both blasted. He was out with his family. I'm back with mine. He's like,
You don't have to whisper. No.
oh, sorry.
You can talk normal.
They're still gonna hear it.
So we go.
Don't tell anybody.
And so we walk down the crow's nest, and there's a telephone booth, and we walk left, and you keep going around. It's the champion's locker room. And Alex goes right into Sevy's locker. He's got Sevy's green jacket on.
Oh, my God.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're
And there's
never
a-
allowed back.
Oh,
And there's a bar in there. And he's like, what do you want? And he goes, Grey Goose. Another cup of ice, Grey Goose. And I'm like, what? Is the squirter working? I'm like, yeah, give us some Sprite. So he squirts straight. He's like, who's your favorite player? I'm like, I grew up a Jack fan. He's like, you got to wear his jacket. I'm like,
Oh.
no way. He's like, you got to wear it. I'm like, no way. I'm like, no. I think I have like the master's robe on that they give you up in the crow's nest, but I'm not putting on Jack's jacket. But he's just cruising around. He's pouring
incredible.
drinks
with
in
Sevy's jacket.
100%. And we drink until who knows when at this point, because now we're about to. But yeah, true story. Alex,
That is
Hops the fence. I
unbelievable.
assume they just had snipers on the roof there.
That's
if you
what I
hop the
thought.
fence.
I
Like
thought
you might
someone
have
was
gotten picked off
tackling
on
me.
the way.
100%.
Does anyone else know that at Augusta that happened other than you and Alex?
Oh no.
Okay.
The
Well, now
lady
they're
at the
gonna
front
know.
desk, because I told her, and I'm like, I mean, I come in probably like the end of the day. I'm just
yeah,
sweaty.
That's the story, dude.
That is a great
Oh.
story.
I told you that's a
And
real
This
deal.
dude wore Sevy's green jacket.
And he
pouring
can
drinks.
tell you this because, okay, so that's 2003, 2011, true story. He is caddying for Jose Maria Olazabal in the Masters, and I go over to him on the range, and I'm with him. He's like, no, you can't tell them that story. And I said, well, I know what happened that Sunday night, don't you? And he started laughing
That
and
is
laughing.
awesome.
Yeah, so fast forward, so what would that have been? Yeah, like 7 or 8 years I ran into him, and we had a blast that week. He was the first guy to congratulate me, like, after I played Friday and Saturday. And he had a great story on 12. His younger brother, who's now won on the European Tour like 3 or 4 times, he's on 12 on Friday. He's way out of the cut line. And the pin's front left. Rinses it. His brother's like, no. Get the 8-iron. He's like, no, give me the ball. He has 2 balls left. He has 13, 15, 16 left. And his brother's like, no. Gets it. Hits it like 2 feet. Taps it in. Goes. Rinses it on, I think, 15. And his brother's like, you cannot hit the ball in the water on 16. You won't finish the tournament. So anyways,
that's
he
some pressure.
finishes the tournament. But yeah, he did.
With one
Front
ball.
left with 1 ball. Oh, yeah.
Well, you mentioned playing golf a little banged up after a few cocktails at night. Who's the best hungover golfer you know?
Oh, dude.
Best hungover.
I heard you were good.
It's
back in
you,
your
bro.
day.
That's-
I was going to say,
it's you.
Northeast
You're allowed to
Amateur
say
me.
Yeah, you can say
Well,
you.
I heard a different one.
Okay.
I heard the college event at Southern Highlands.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Your
that's
roommate
the
might
one.
have been our good friend Andy Medley.
Oh, yeah. Well,
This is a good story, too, dude.
okay, I can tell it now.
Yeah.
I can't tell the whole thing.
You can tell part of it.
Protect identities.
I was dry heaving on the way. Well, geez, what can I tell? Okay, yeah, I was dry heaving, and I told Coach to pull over the van. He said no. And coming into the Southern Highlands, there's bumps, like you're going in Arcadia, Arizona. and there's bumps. He's like, no. I get right out of the van and I heave. And yeah. And these other guys on the team, by the way, I'm dry heaving. I shoot the lowest round that day.
Do you want me to tell you the story I heard? Just to this
let's refresh his memory.
Well, let me at least tell you my
bad.
side of the story.
Yeah.
Is that, and let's just put it this way. Andrew calls me, and I'm pulling up to the hotel.
Mm-hmm.
He is coming out of the hotel to meet the van. And I called him on the way, and I said, have the outfit, because you have to wear your outfits the same. Have the outfit ready for me. And he's like, it's out. You set it out the night before. I was like, okay, good. So I come in, and the outfit's ready for me. And I go in, I rinse off, I put on the outfit. I'm only like 3 minutes behind him, so it doesn't look that
Like too
unobvious.
bad, yeah.
Because he took a shower, then I took the shower, and it comes in, and I show up to the van. Yeah, all good. And then once we start getting out there, and I'm like, to the golf course, and I'm like, oh no, it's settling in.
Yeah.
So, but I want to hear
the
it.
version of the story I heard was the team played terrible. You were playing actually fine.
Yeah.
But LaRose was so mad. He's like, I don't even want to see you all tonight. Do whatever you want. He said he passes you on the strip.
Yes.
And he's like, where are you going? He's like, you're like, oh, just going out.
Because he's with his uncle.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he goes, the assistant coach calls the room at 5:40 in the morning because you have a 6 a.m. meet downstairs. He answers the phone. He's like, hey, it's your wake-up call. Get up. He goes, Rick, get in the shower. You're showering first today. Rolls over. You ain't there.
The bed is made. The bed is perfect. It's got the mint on the pillow.
true.
So all of a sudden, 5:58 comes. You come in the door, and Andy's on his way down. He's like, first off, Ricky's the only one on the team that can get away with being any bit late.
Of course.
You came down at 6:03. Okay, nothing is said. You get to the Southern Highlands. You puke 15 times in the parking lot in front of Coach.
Yeah, no dry
65.
Yeah, I'll never forget it because I had a really good round.
Hey Ricky, wake up!
I didn't win the golf tournament, but he wasn't mad at me the whole day. I played good. The team did play like shit. And Coach was so mad at us. I mean, like, so mad. Big event. All the good teams are there. Golf week event. And after the round, we have 5 hours to kill before our flight to Tucson from Vegas. Or we have 3.5, but whatever, 4.5 hours. And we get in, and I'm like, hey, Coach, can we go to the casino? He's like, no. And Coach sits down, hangs out, whatever. And I'm like, Coach, what's wrong? Like, I think nothing's wrong. My hangover's probably finally done. I got everything out of my system. He's like, he drops us off at Mandalay Bay. The guy who's telling you the story, Andrew. We go in, win $350 a piece.
Which is $1 million
That's
in college.
$10 million in college dollars.
I mean, that's to this day, right now, that's $20,000 at the crap or at any table. We hop on that Southwest flight. Coach sits up at the front. We sit at the back. It's like a Sunday night. We're 21. We're ordering cocktails in the back.
Hell
we have
yes.
$350. Go back, whatever. And somehow I drink that day. But oh my God, that's
an impressive round of
100%
golf.
Dude,
true story. I thought someone was telling you about the Northeast one, which was just about.
I know these stories, Ricky, but
It's
we
a
protect our
carbon
guests.
copy. It's a
That's
carbon
awesome.
copy.
yeah, that's an unbelievable. Medley said he's like, I was going into the hotel as Ricky was coming out, didn't see him again until the next morning, goes and shoots 65. Finished like second in the golf tournament.
yeah.
Rick LaRose has no idea. All he knows is Ricky's his guy and he can do whatever he wants.
By the
and
way,
he's
when I
fine.
was in college, Rick LaRose scared the shit out of me.
He's still scary, bro.
He was so mean. Like, not to me. I would just see, like, team meetings when things didn't go well. I'm like, oh, my God.
He kicked me in a
He's-
team meeting.
He's tough.
Andrew Medley was there, regionals senior year or something. He was doing a team speech after like the second or third round, and I flagellated pretty loud, and he kicked me.
Actually, it's pretty. And he kicked you.
Oh yeah,
That's abuse.
I was laughing because I
could
was
sue
laughing
nowadays.
at him, and he kicked me, and I started laughing, and I won the tournament the next day, and I said, "You need to kick me more often."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Rick, you can fart as much as you want, dude. You are my guy. If you got Ricky Barnes on your college team,
Full on
you can do
kick
whatever
me
the
in my
hell you
shin.
want.
I'll never forget it,
You can do
Coach.
whatever the hell you want. But dude, after like we were talking about that Masters performance and you're beating Tiger. You were like the it guy coming out of like college golfers weren't getting a lot of pub at that time. I feel like you were the guy getting tons of it. And then you parlay that into, there's another great picture. We're going to ask for your permission to post that one of you when you were nicknamed Snacks. But there's another one of you, Jay-Z, and LeBron James at the 4040 Club, which was like just launching at the time, Jay-Z's club up in New York. And you get invited.
My God.
You got
He's
it right
showing the
here?
picture. This is the Snacks picture.
Was this it?
7th grade.
Yeah, send that. That's the one.
My God.
I got
8th grade.
That's the one with the tie. We'll get
That's
that.
not even you.
Producer Mark. No, that's him, dude.
That is
Now look at him, dude. You
unbelievable.
could bounce quarters off of this
God.
freaking guy. But back in the
Things
day,
change, Mox.
dude, you
Almighty.
70 pounds in 6 months. But dude, you got the picture. So that picture's great. We're gonna post that now that you actually showed that. And B, now you got this picture with Jay-Z and LeBron. Talk about how like that. The notoriety around you at that time was massive. How do you get invited to a party where there's Jay-Z and LeBron in attendance?
So it's kind of twofold. Your first part of the question was in Colt and like a Ryan Moore and like a Hunter. People coming out of college can understand that. I can't. I'll tell two parts of the story. Is that when we come out as golfers, we all get thrown back in the same pool. So there's the top 5 or 10 golfers, and you have the top 5 or 10 football players, basketball players that come out. They get 2 or 3 year contracts to go prove themselves. We get thrown in the same pool as golfers to go prove yourself. Meaning, we might get a few more exemptions, but you have just as much status as Drew Stoltz, as John Doe, as someone coming out of college, anybody. Mm-hmm. So you have to go prove yourself. So yes, we might get some sponsorship dollars and exemptions to go kind of help the path to get there. But I came out, as you said, it was like Hesop Choi, LeBron James, Logano, and someone else. They did ESPN Next magazine. It just came back out. They did Next. It was ESPN the magazine, but it was called Next.
Next was big, yeah.
So they did an hour special on the television, and they did a magazine. And I was the golfer, and they picked a athlete from each sport, and I'll never forget it. And they came to Tucson and did a TV part of it. They did a shoot part of it, and at that point, you think you get a 2 or 3, like I said, 4-year contract. You get to go prove yourself. And in golf, we probably would have come out of college if we would have both got our card right away, get on the PGA Tour, you start clicking, blah, 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 blah. And it's a super tough thing in golf, and it's tough to explain to the normal golfer how you get your card and keep it. You just say you finish in the top 125. And on the other part of that, I was coming out of college. I was a little bit different, or I felt like I was a little bit different. Stockton, crossover athlete, wore a different shirt, but was playing well in the Masters with Tiger and Tucson Open. And I think I played in another tournament that played well to parlay it into it. But I'll never forget, I play well in the Masters. I make the cut with Ernie and Tiger in the 2003 U.S. Open when Ernie was making a big push at Tiger. And I'd never seen so much media in my life. And I'm sitting there, and I'm at Olympia Fields. Another Wildcat won it, Jim Furyk. Mm-hmm. And it's Saturday night. And my best girlfriend from high school is going to Northwestern. And I was going to go hang out with her on Sunday and Monday. Just stay there for a couple extra days in the summer. She was doing summer school. And I'm going to go hang out with her, just to stay there for a little bit. We had nothing going on in the summer, really, at that point. Because I was going to turn pro. I was going to go play in the British Open, then turn pro after. And I got a call on my phone. I was getting recruited by, let's call it Nike or an Adidas and Reebok and this company with Reebok who Jay-Z was with, and this other management company calls me and gets me associated, and I'm on the phone with the guy that they call World Wide West.
Legend.
Legend. And Jay-Z.
Yeah.
So World Wide West calls me. He's like, hey, I got a guy that wants to talk to you. And I told you this, and I'm like, yeah, hello. Hey, this is Jay-Z. Yo, I'm open up the 40-40 Club. I think it was on a Wednesday. Do you want to come? I'm like, yeah. He's like, how many albums I got? I'm like, you got 4. He's like, I got 5, but I don't count the first one. He's like, you're in. He's like, bam, I got you staying here. You're in. And I mean, the picture describes it all. But I mean, I hang out at Northwestern where my good girlfriend was hanging for like a day and a half. I fly to New York. I stay at the Giraffe Hotel in Midtown. I end up going to the 40-40 Club, which is just opened that night. He drops the Black album that night, plays it 2 times through, and then we leave. I'm in the best story from the whole night is that I go into that room. I'm eating with them. I'm having cocktails and drinks with them. I go into the club with them. Red carpet. Jason Kidd's ex-wife is doing the red carpet. Bam, I'm in the same room. I need to go to the bathroom. I go outside, go to the bathroom. I come back. Guy gives me the full-on Heisman. I'm like, whoa. And these 2 guys are huge. It's Beyonce's bouncer and Jay-Z's bouncer. And I'm like, oh, no, I was just in here. I just came back out. No, you didn't. No. By all means, just like producer over there, Jay-Z makes eye contact with me. And I give him the hands up. He's like, no. So Jay-Z walks over. And LeBron's there. LeBron's getting drafted. And he goes, this guy tonight can go anywhere. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in. And 5 minutes later, there's a picture of me, whatever, and I got little Kim on my lap. I'm hanging with Antoine Walker, Tracy McGrady, LeBron James.
Sleaze might have to excuse himself when you said little Kim.
You see the picture? I showed her the picture.
I'm a bit of a fan.
Dude,
how do you go back to college after that? You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to go back to Tucson and hang out at the local pub.
So that was the summer. 2 weeks later, I went over, played in the British. And then 2 weeks after that, I turned pro at Castle Pines.
Did you meet Beyonce? Let's get back to
I've had dinner with her twice.
Wow. What?
The most beautiful
Explain
skin
everything.
I have ever.
What'd she smell like? Rainbows,
so right here.
Butterflies?
So the same gal.
Heaven?
No, and true story. My good girlfriend that was from Stockton, randomly enough, the family from Stockton owns the San Diego Chargers, now the Los Angeles Chargers. She was in town, and another friend put us up, because I was just moving here, put us up at the Phoenician Hotel, and that was the Rock the Mic tour. I don't know if you guys remember that. Anyways,
yeah.
Jay-Z was playing with all, and yeah, we had dinner with him at the Phoenician. I had just turned pro. 2004, I think, was the Rock the Mic tour. And yeah, I've actually had dinner with him twice, and most beautiful skin I've ever seen.
I mean, no offense, things have kind of gone downhill for you.
That's what I'm saying. How do you, life at 21 and 22, dude? Like, you're pinnacled. Like, I don't care what you do from that point on. There's nowhere to go except, like, dude, you're having dinner with Jay-Z and Beyonce, and they're calling you to, like, come hang out with them. Like, there ain't nowhere to go but down.
And the most unbelievable thing is, like, after the show, they came back because she popped. Was it Crazy in Love when she featured in? And she would, like, surprise the whole crowd, whatever. But I was with them before, so I kind of knew that she was going to come out. But after the show, they come back, and I got one of my buddies and one of my good girlfriends there and hanging out. And after the show, she's drinking. I forgot what drink she was drinking, but they're ordering French fries and onion rings and chicken wings. She's like, "Oh my God, like Beyonce looks like she looks," and she's just crushing French fries.
She threw up later.
Yeah,
she threw up later.
Yeah, true, but I mean, you can't make these. Now that you look back on it, you think that it's normal life, but now you're like, oh my God, what was I doing? I was 22 years old when this was happening.
You're a baby.
That's cool.
That's unreal.
Yeah. I got to ask you one serious golf question before we get into some more fun stuff, because we could talk about this stuff all day.
We can talk about Beyonce for the next 2 hours if you want.
But
you with me?
I'm in. I'll text you.
You with me? Yeah, okay.
Unbelievable. But obviously, you had a great run at the Masters as an amateur. You know, you had a lead at the U.S. Open in 2009 at Bethpage. You played 310 PGA Tour events, number of chances to win. Would you consider your career unsuccessful if you don't get a win before it's all over?
Unsuccessful? Probably no. Disappointed, yes.
Disappointed?
Yeah, super disappointed. Way too competitive. Talk about like club throwing and stuff when you were young. I won at every level. You know, I've lost at Korn Ferry, playoff event. Feel like I should have won the 2009 without playing an 8-hole stretch versus Lucas. And he played good golf. We were both ball striking it well. I had about a 7 or 8 hole stretch where I just didn't hit it good.
Yeah, but it's one of those ones where you lose by 2 and you shot 76 the final round. Like, I mean, looking back, that's one that definitely probably got away.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, and disappointed. Like I said, the word kind of disappointment, and then where you look about like the weight loss and putting all that energy and stuff like that. So like the word discipline and acceptance always come into golf and pro sports. But unsuccessful, I would say no in a sense, because I feel like I've done a lot and I played a lot of sports, and I didn't have a lot of coaching growing up just in focus with golf as a lot of other guys. But disappointing, yeah. And I don't look at it as the past yet. I did kind of a reevaluation about 10 months ago. Kind of looked at a kind of a new sports, like kind of switch coaches, get another eye on it, and realize, hey, do you either want to go a different path and start not really like working for a living, because that's kind of the wrong way to look at it, because golf is, people always think, oh, you get to play golf for a living. Well, you put all your time and effort when you wake up to when you go to sleep into golf. I look at it a little bit different now, right? So you have a family, you got to pick and choose your times when you can do it, but really assessing the mental part of it as part of the physical part of it. I feel like I'm still there and I can compete. So I'm not really to slam that chapter yet. I feel like I can cross over, maybe do something else, or the relationships that we meet through golf are unbelievable. You can't really put another fingerprint on any other sport that gives us what we have. I mean, case in point, Jay-Z and Beyonce as opposed to
Sleaze and Colt.
Yeah,
and
very similar.
Take it a step
Interchangeable.
further. CEOs of companies that are, Fortune 500, Fortune freaking 50 companies that we get to meet in pro-ams and et cetera, et cetera. But, yeah, I mean, in a serious thing, yeah, I'd be super disappointed in
That's a good way
myself.
to put it. Yeah.
So unsuccessful, no, but disappointed, yes.
Let me ask you this. So you had an unbelievable experience as an amateur. You were the top college guy, or top amateur guy. You had all this success. Did you think you had a skewed perspective in the sense that, like, when you did turn pro, you're like, this is going to come easy. Dude, I've won at the high school level. I've won at the college level. I've won at the amateur level. I've always won. I'm just going to show up on, once I turn pro, I'm going to show up and do the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I got on that run that I was saying earlier with, like, the world amateur top. I think I finished, I can't think of it, but 15th, 16th at the Tucson Open, played well at the Augusta, made the cut at the U.S. Open with Tiger and Ernie. And that was kind of a, parlay and everything in that. And I was playing well on college events too, right? So you're playing in, 6 to 8 college events in the spring, and I was playing well. I think if I wasn't winning or finished third, I was in the top 10. And I was the number one player on our team. We were a really good team. We were probably favored or top 3 going into regionals and NC2As. But, yeah, I think at the end of the day, to be realistic, it's one of those things that you need to say, I probably put too much pressure on myself. You come out, you have sponsorship dollars, you have everything else, and you think it would come way easier to get your card. And like I said, you come into this pool like other athletes, and you get a 2 or 3 year contract. And I got a 2 or 3 year contract with a club company and a clothing company to go prove myself. But that being said, it's still coming out of your pocket to go play on the Korn Ferry events, the PGA Tour events, and the exemption events. And you still need to go in and gain status to prove your worth. But yeah, I probably thought it was going to be easy, but I would say I was putting just as much pressure on myself from the companies that I was sponsored with.
That's fair.
Yeah, that is
Meaning
fair.
because they
We
were
just got
fine.
kinda
They were
deep.
Yeah, I like
no,
this.
but they were firing.
Yeah.
They were firing. I mean, I'm talking real dollars at me.
Yeah.
When I was 21 years old, that if I got my card my first 2 years, I'll never forget it. I think it was just about to get out of my deal with Callaway. It was going to end. And if I got my card that year, I mean, it was unbelievable money. And I was talking to, who's now my wife, that if I got my card that year, and I'll never forget it, I think it was Houstonian, and the guy chipped in on 17 and 18 for me to finish 26. That's when there was 25 cards on the Korn Ferry Tour. And there was a difference of $1.2 million in my contract that if I got my card versus not getting my card that year.
That's a stinger.
Wasn't it like a few thousand? But I was reading about that. Wasn't it like a few thousand? Like a couple?
Oh,
like it was like
$1,200 if he
like
chips
that.
it on the green, putts it in on 17, chips it on, putts in the green on 18, I get the card. And I had 9 top 10s that year and did not get my card on the Korn Ferry Tour.
Who was that?
Craig, Canada.
Never.
Craig
Craig
Canada.
Well, Canada.
I know that. Craig Canada.
Depends where
I know
you're.
that
If you're
little
from
fella.
Stockton, it's Canada.
He's one of the few guys I can hit it by. I know
It was
that guy.
Craig Canada that did that.
Yeah.
Wow, that
no
bastard.
shit. I read that you were 26.
I
And
remember
it was
that.
a nothing dollar amount.
The next year,
Nothing.
it went to 20 cards. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's our serious talk for the day. But
Damn.
by the way,
I love
that's
this.
real.
I know you love game shows as well.
Well, that was a two thing.
Bigger
Yeah.
Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune? fan?
Jeopardy.
Mallinger said he owns you. John Mallinger
Not
says
true.
he owns you.
Ballinger owns
Jeopardy.
everything, everyone, and
Who
everything.
texts him more when that show's on than me? Nobody.
He says you might be able to handle him in the kids' version of Jeopardy.
Wow.
That's about it, though.
Ballinger, dude.
First off, I love Wheel of Fortune.
Malinger can't
do
answer a
love
question
Will Fortune.
right on the free. Yeah, well, I was texting you that one night
Yeah.
on that good show.
We watch it all the time. We
Colt's
text each other.
like lifelong shit now
Oh,
is
I
to get
love
on
it.
Wheel of Fortune, which I think you will.
We
When
had
he talks about champions, we're talking about like Austin and the legends of Jeopardy.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, dude, Austin.
Austin's.
He's the recent guy, right? The gambling guy that knows all.
No.
Is that the guy?
No.
Or was that the guy
No.
before him? Who was
no,
that
no, no.
guy?
Austin is the bartender from New York, where that went to the thrift shop to get all of his outfits.
You don't know. You don't know.
Who's
You wouldn't
the new?
understand.
Who is the most recent guy that had
The gambler.
gambling guy?
The
Yeah,
gambler.
what was
Oh,
his name?
No, he's from Vegas.
He was
brilliant.
Why
unbelievable.
am I like? He's kind of like. It almost looks like he's autistic.
But we had Brian Urlacher on, and he one of the things when I Googled him was that he got to go on Wheel of Fortune.
Oh yeah.
And of all the things he's done, it's like that was my favorite
I know,
thing he's done.
so
I was
jealous.
excited. I was like, "Are you kidding me? You went on Wheel of Fortune?
Oh,
I would have killed you on that game."
I just want to give Pat and Vanna a hug.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good one. Like if Pat Sajak or Alex Trebek, you could only save one of them. Who would it be?
Oh, Alex. You're a legend.
Perfect. All right, let's get into some emergency.
Yeah, we'll
nine.
hit a little E9 now. This has
E9
been
is-
unbelievable.
this
By the
has
way,
been
your
great.
life, shit, I feel like my life sucks balls now.
it does.
Just suck to you. Jesus.
It's just getting
Oh, yeah,
started.
Jay-Z
Come
called
on.
me and asked me to his party. All right. Yeah, do E9. You want to
Yeah,
start it? Or you
I can
wanna...
start it.
All
Yeah.
right, you fire it off.
We asked this to everybody, as you know, because you're a huge fan. Movie about the life of Ricky Barnes. Who plays you?
So I've listened to your show, guys, a lot. Every interview you've done. I had 2.
Okay.
So I say, you guys know my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You guys know me. I said Jack Nicholson or Jim Carrey.
Fair.
Oh, wow.
I'm
I got
thinking the
one.
Joker because you know
Jack's
this.
going to have to get a little Botox. I'm going to have to dial him
And
back
Jim
just a few
Carrey,
years.
I'm a little skinnier now, and the mouth.
Mine-
kinda fits
He's
Jim
crazy
Carrey.
enough to play.
Let me
you.
tell you mine. Or
Yeah, you go.
Mine was a young John Travolta.
Oh,
Okay,
I don't know
just
why, I
not
just
dark
kinda-
hair. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's Andy. That's my
fair.
brother.
By the way,
Oh, yeah,
I,
that kid
I have
was in
so
now.
much stuff from Andy I didn't get to.
Well,
He's gonna be mad at me.
Why are you
'Cause
cutting
we-
us short?
We only got, you got a flight to catch. We only got a certain amount
I
of
got
time.
3 more hours.
Yeah, we
and
could do
could
whatever we
delay
want.
it.
I'll tell you who mine is, and it's not even an actor, but it's Troy Aikman because you guys are somehow related. I don't know
Yeah,
how it
I
is.
said
I don't know
that.
where that family tree connects, but it's somewhere because y'all two.
Both of my parents went to UCLA.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there it
He
is.
used to
Because
walk
I
in-
see, I'll watch him on football. Like, Ricky's calling football now. You guys look a lot alike.
I'd love to go.
You should just
football.
go to Dallas then. People will love you.
We just need, yeah, dude. I think you actually could parlay that. You go to Dallas.
Oh, maybe we'll call Will the
Ever.
Thrill. I'll sit next to the box.
Yeah.
Oh, hello.
That ain't a bad play.
All right, number 2.
All right, number 2.
Hill Perot, let me go to your box.
All right.
Yeah, Hill's got a nice one there.
Oh,
You're obviously a very well-rounded man. You're big into the investment world. I need a stock tip right now. Give me one stock that Colt and I should buy, and everyone listening should buy if we want to make money. You keep your ear to the street and that is Wall Street.
I mean, I'd hate to say I wish we had this podcast 2 months ago, Apple and Facebook.
Oh, there's the big dogs, huh?
Well, no, I'm just saying tech right now. It's unbelievable. I was fortunate. I was looking at my deal the other day, and those were kind of the 2 that popped. And with everything that's going on in the world, I mean, what's everyone relating to? I mean, these things, devices, and you never know what's going to happen in the next 6 to 8 months. That moving forward, I mean, I think you still got to look at those. And
What about
I
Amazon?
wouldn't. Well,
Should I buy Amazon? Because I
Yeah.
feel like they're going to run the
So,
world in about
no.
5 years.
so that's a good safe one. I don't like the dividend because I like a little dividend
Or
pay.
you like a little piece?
Yeah,
Broke
well,
up a
we're
little
getting
piece.
older. I got kids.
Yeah.
I
Fixed
think with
income.
what's going on with my kids and everything else, I don't think you can go wrong with Microsoft right now. Get it
Okay.
at about 206. I think it's 206, 208 today.
Shout out David Porter.
Yeah, hey, all the boys. But I don't know. I always like a good safe bet, and if I'm going to put it on the pod, I'll take Microsoft.
All
right
right,
now.
buy that right
204,
now. And if it
206.
sucks ass, tweet and Instagram
At the
Ricky.
real Ricky
At the
Barnes.
real Ricky Barnes. That's where you go if you lose
I'm
a bunch
here.
of money on that. Yeah, he's
I
there.
love it. All right, number 3. Heard the story. I wasn't at your wedding, but I heard at your rehearsal dinner, your wife stood up, gave a toast, and said, "Babe, I love you, and just so you know, I'll never tell you no to a Vegas trip." First off, what the hell are you talking? How did you convince her to do this? What did you put in her drink, and where can I get some?
Yeah.
That's the greatest deal I've
Does
ever
she
had
have
in
a
my
sister
life.
that I can marry
Yeah.
also?
The best part of the whole story is, yes, 100% true, and I'm going to make her listen to this podcast as soon as you guys blast this out, because I'm just say fast forward to the 50th minute, is she caught me by surprise, and
unbelievable.
2 of my married buddies that come with me all the time, they stand up, full on clapping, and their wives are behind them, pulling their shirts to
Yeah.
pull the husband down. And if you're in here right now, it was unbelievable because she was thanking everybody for coming. Hey, I love Ricky, everything. I know what he likes to do, his interests, everything else. But anytime you want to go to Vegas, you can. And two to three of my buddies stood up,
You picked a
started
winner.
clapping, and I
did.
have used that trump card once.
Only once?
Once.
You go to
No,
Vegas a
no.
lot,
I mean,
bro.
like,
We've been, and you go.
I'm not arguing, but I'm saying we're like, hey, I don't think you should go. What do you think about this? I'm like, hey.
You said.
Hey.
You remember the rehearsal dinner. It's one of those things where you're like, hey, I want to go. And she's like, okay, yeah, go ahead, whatever. Hey, when you coming back? Hey, I'm going to go next Tuesday. Well, I just went last week, but hey, when you coming back? And it's like, hey, when you come? It's like, no. I'm gonna go. You remember the rehearsal dinner,
Yeah.
and
It's in the contract.
I have yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
It's in the contract.
Yeah.
By the
Till
way,
death
side
do
note,
us part.
this isn't a question, but is there a better place on the planet than Shadow Creek?
Zero.
Zero. You were just there last week, not Shadow Creek, but you were just in Vegas last week wearing the full hazmat. It's a little different right now. We need to get it back when it's.
Yeah, I need no mask where I can puff on a guard, hang with the boys,
He
stand on the
does
back of the table.
smash some cigars.
Maybe get on a little heater. No big deal.
Oh,
Hey,
You guys ever-
After
nobody-
Malaysia.
Hey,
You ever gone to
nobody
Vegas
leaves-
straight after
oh.
Malaysia.
I can't believe you didn't bring up that story
We're not done yet.
because you don't remember.
Good point. I don't. All right, next
you
question.
guys ever heard of the Nomad? Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Hello. All right. You and I play on the same rec hoops team. Very competitive down there at the Jewish Athletic Center here in Scottsdale. But you like to play a lot of pickup hoops. Give me an NBA player right now that most resembles your style of hoops play.
Right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
No. I'll let you go historic
Oh,
if
well,
you
then
want.
you know. Rodman.
No, you're a Rodman. Yeah,
I got hard.
I had two names and that's it.
I mean, Rodman. You know what? I would throw him. I'm not to throw my name in that league, but Barkley or Rodman.
Okay, I like
'Cause I use
Rodman
an
more
ass.
because, dude.
But you can shoot though.
No, Ricky's
I can
more
get
of
on
a
the
threat
heater. No, I mean
to
like,
score.
Yeah, it sucks because if I shoot well, they're going to lose the game, but no one's going to out hustle me.
We played on the
Zero.
same team, dude. Rick would literally body slam it. Someone would come in the paint, try to get a layup, and Rick would body slam this human being. And of course, they called a foul. And Rick would turn to the ref like it was closer to like being ejected from the game in a flagrant 7 than a no call. And Rick would argue this call. I was like, dude, this isn't the one. This is not the one to argue. He was fouled out by the 12th minute. And the homeboy uses his fouls.
I like it.
Valuable.
Hey, Rec.
But the Rodman is the right call.
What? Yeah, we won. We won Rec my sophomore year at University of Arizona.
Oh, I didn't even get into that story before the
rec too.
Masters, but yeah, you live with all the hoops players. You live with
Oh, yeah.
like Luke and Iggy and all those guys.
So I'll tell that story real quick. So I'm in college, and it is 10 days before I'm going to Augusta. Nate Lashley, fellow friend of the pod, everything.
Khaki pants.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, and he calls me. He's like, hey, let's play in a. Oh, he was playing in the whatever rec ball pickup rec league, and I said, and he's like, let's play. He's like, oh, you're fine. He's like, you'll play the whole game. I'll get into whatever. And I said, all right, I'll show up. So we go play the first half. Second half comes in, and it's like he's shooting free throws. It's like 5 minutes into the second half, and I get it off. It's a rebound, normal.
Normal.
Standard, bro.
And I give the guy a head fake, and this guy goes up for a volleyball slam and takes my whole right eyelid out. Whiffs the ball, I make it, foul blown, and I got 8 stitches in this right eye 10 days before I go to Augusta.
Brilliant
Pick up
decision.
ball 10 days before Augusta.
Yeah.
You need a life coach.
You
sir.
do need
LaRose
a
was
life
not
coach.
happy with me on that one, by
Yeah,
the way.
stitched up.
All right. Next question. What does a Waffle House and an ATM card have in common? See, this is where we
Both.
Yeah, think about it.
this is where we ask
Yeah.
the deep stuff.
This is
Oh,
where
God.
we do research on this show, bro.
There's a story behind
Oh, if this is from my brother, it's got to be. But both you have to call your brother to learn how you pick
No.
up a tab or something.
No, that's incorrect. They're both open 24/7. You can use them both. You can go to them both 24/7. Rumor has it you didn't know you could use your ATM card in college when the bank was closed.
Freshman year. Call my brother. I'm like, hey, I need like $40. He's like, go to Wells Fargo, stick in your card, punch in your pen.
His story was a little longer. He's like, "Yeah, what? Are you in trouble? What, like, can I help you?" And you're like, "No, I just need some money." And you're like, "Well, you have an ATM card." He's like, "Yeah, but I need some money now." And he's like, "Well, if you need beer or something, like, I'll go get it for you."
Yeah.
And he's like, "And you're like, well, I can't use my ATM card. The bank's closed."
I was trying to think of the reference, but yeah, that's true. I know it's coming from my brother.
Yep,
for
that
sure.
was from Andy Barnes.
Oh, yeah.
God. No, dude, I can't go to the ATM. Wells Fargo's closed.
Yeah.
There's no
Oh,
way
yeah.
I can get cash.
Mom and Dad didn't send me money. Although that was kind of our parents. We got free gas, and that was it. You had to use your scholarship
Dude,
money.
it's 8:30 at night. There's no way any bank is open right now. All right, that's good. You've come a long way since your freshman year of college. All right, next question. You lose your arm in a vicious pickleball accident. What does Ricky Barnes do for a living?
If I lose my arm in pickleball, well,
So you can't you can't turn pro in pickleball, which I think
I'm
you
pretty good
may
at
be able
pickleball.
to do right now.
Yeah. No, I mean, golf's been good to us, like with the relationships. I was talking about it earlier. I've reached out, and I think you call probably the 5. What I'd probably do at the end of the day is call probably the 5 or 6 guys that I respect, trust, and they're
So me and Colt and 3 other guys?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
And just say, hey, where do you think I'm good? I'd probably, the quick answer is I'd probably get into one of my 3 or 4 good friends in business development, kind of help grow someone's business that's already
Your brother
there.
said it'd be the guy in San Francisco.
Joe McClain.
Joe McClain.
Oh,
Yeah,
Joe.
that's
Joe.
probably right.
Joe.
You and Joe. You can
Yeah,
handle
Joe.
NBA players' money.
Yeah, I feel like in that space, and you guys can refer to it as people trust someone else that is willing to put their money kind of where their mouth is, kind of sweat equity. If you ever read that article with Mark Cuban and stuff, is that say, hey, this guy's kind of been there, see what he did with his money, see if he was good with his money, and do that. So yeah, I mean, Joe's a great guy. There's a few others that come to mind. Kind of call them, see if they would need me, and I've always had my interest, like you said, whether it's stocks or investments or safe investments, and I feel like I've been pretty good with mine. Yeah, I'd probably get into that space. I like what you guys are in, and maybe if I can't hit the shots, call the shots. But I don't know about that yet. But I feel like relationships and with us playing so many golf courses and golf clubs and pro-ams and everything else to kind of use our
You meet
relationships.
some cool people, that is for sure.
Yeah, there's no, and everyone will tell you. I remember Charles on the pod and other athletes, Jeremy Roenick and et cetera. Like, no, there's no other sports like golf that get you acquainted with other athletes to parlay this into something else.
Yeah,
True.
you would have
100% true.
options.
All right, well, hopefully your arm doesn't get ripped off in a pickleball game, because now I want to talk about some pickleball. You play a lot of pickleball with my man Sleaze. You also play a lot of golf with him. This is a 2-part question. I need a
I'm
rating.
very interested right
I need
now.
a rating of 1 to 10 on Sleaze's pickleball game, because I've never seen him play. He tells me that he's the greatest. And also, what current PGA Tour player would you say resembles Sleaze's golf game?
Ooh, I've never been more interested in an answer in my life.
2-part question.
That's a good question, Colt.
All right, so Sleaze, I'll never forget it. 15 months ago, we're playing a round-robin pickleball match, 5 of us, and we get done at a fellow friend's house, and he tells us that he's the best player. And I got to be honest, he lost $540 in one session of pickleball.
My partners were shit, dude.
Every one of them.
Everyone sucked when they
And
get
all
with
the
me.
wives come over and we start drinking. And he brings up a serious question. If someone was on their game, who would you want as your partner? Who's the best player here? And he says, me. Sleaze, you're the only guy that lost $540. The next biggest loser of the whole day was 80. He's like, me. And I was like, oh, God, this guy's delirious.
Confidence is not a problem for Sleaze.
And I'll tell you what, he paid his way to become a good player. No, this is a true story. And they'll tell you from today, we played today, and cheers to my boy. We played twice or 3 times today, 2-0 or 3-0. He's got, so he was a, they go like 4.0, 5.0, 4.50, whatever out of 10 in tennis. But my boy was probably like, I feel like our players that we played that were really good, we're about honestly, like we're like 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s. If we went and played other people, we're really good. And when Sleaze came and he was playing really good, he was like a 6 out of 10. So if you had him on your team, it was a liability.
I was a liability early, even though I told everyone I was the best.
No, but now when he did that, it was the funniest night of our lives because he was pissed. Now Sleaze is I can honestly say I feel like I've been playing well lately, but my guy's a 7.5 out of 10,
like
8
it.
out of 10 right now.
My boy.
Good improvement. All right,
And
next
we
part of
could
the
go.
question. What PGA Tour player
Yeah.
reminds you of Sleaze's golf game?
On
Anthony
the golf
Kim?
thing.
Maybe
But
just
he's
slide
not
that
golfing anymore.
in. No, I know, but I was a lot like him.
Sleaze's golf
Incredible
game
potential.
that just who talks
Trevino?
the
DA
great-
points.
Oh my God.
The Lego belt. That gives me away.
Does not stop talking.
Well, no, I think the easiest answer, and it's probably not a great one for the pod, but Johnny Longsocks.
Oh, Casey
you're saying-
Scotty?
Yeah,
I
you're
know.
a
I
caddy.
love
Yeah.
him, dude. We met him at Riviera when
I
we
know,
got
but you
did
had
radio.
Casey,
He was unbelievable.
and trust me, a friend of the pod I listen to,
That
whatever.
works.
But,
I'll accept that.
I feel like it's Johnny because when Sleaze shows up, people look at him. Everyone wants to talk to him. Johnny, he's got the long socks. They have something going on. The first thing that they look, hey, so, and then they freaking look down low. Like today, he's got the shoes on. I see him.
Before I met him, I saw him on TV coverage with Paul. I was like, "Who? This guy? This is identity theft. Dude, this is a real problem in America right now. You can't be doing that." And then we met him at Riviera, Colt and I, when we were doing the radio. I was like, "This guy's the best guy of all time. He's unbelievable."
So I was like,
I love it. All right.
That's a great answer. All right, that's a great answer. Next question. This is a good one. All right, who did more to kill the painter hat, you or Ryan Moore?
Oh God.
You're both hot in the streets with the painter hat.
Well, I will. I mean,
You started it.
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
You said it. Okay.
Yeah. Don't be
You
afraid.
started it. He killed it.
Yeah.
Well, and then 2 other guys did, but
Who else?
Who are
killed
the
it?
other?
Who are the other two? I only think of you and Ryan Moore. When I think of the painter hat.
yeah, 2 other guys wore it, and I was like, all right, it's worn out. I gotta.
Who
go.
else?
Graham McDowell wore it.
And,
McDowell
Graham
won US
wore it?
Open in it. And who was
yeah, well,
Graham Moore. Who was the fourth guy?
kind of got into it. Who I love, legend of the game, Freddie Yock.
Oh,
yeah.
Yuck. I feel like he's
wear
a
it,
different.
I know, but it was just like too many guys were wearing it. It was, I'd go to events, and the volunteers, when you check in, they're like, "Oh, Ricky," like they totally knew the painter cap, blah blah. And then after, I think it was 2014, so I'd worn it for like 3 years or something like that, and then Ryan Moore and Graham and Freddie Yock and someone else wore, and I was like, "Oh my God, like I can't."
They killed it.
getting way
You
too
started
blended.
it, and
Yeah,
they
yeah.
grabbed it, and they killed it.
Yeah.
All right. That's fair.
So
I forgot about Freddie Yock. He's such a different.
Oh, I love
I
him.
forgot. Freddie's amazing.
He's an unbelievable dude.
All right.
Freddie.
Last question. Okay, this is a fact. No one in the history of the PGA Tour has received more sponsor exemptions than Ricky Barnes. True? Okay. How many incriminating pictures of tournament directors do you have? And which ones are the worst?
And can we have some?
We're trying to get some spots.
we want to play. dude.
I used to have them. They're not working anymore because I'm writing to them and they don't even. Ricky who? And then I have to spell out my name. Barnes. No, I got them.
Yeah.
I came out. You get it. You come out. You're highly talented. Everything else. You try to get them, and I have, and I've been blessed. I've got a lot of sponsors exemptions. You give a lot of back. You say, hey, I'll help out with the junior clinics, the pro-ams, the
I'll
Monday
give you half my
pro-ams.
check this week. No big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some
I'll
tournaments that
tattoo
doesn't
your
even
name
work.
on my face. Yeah.
I'll teach your kid how to play pickleball.
But well,
You
I
should.
need to start using that
You
one.
should.
God, I haven't
You
thrown that.
should.
I'll
But
get you
no.
on Golf Subpar. No
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. Get you a little name drop.
Yeah, and no, I've been fortunate. I've had a lot of sponsor exemptions, like you said. I mean, it goes back to the whole point of what you said, would be unsuccessful versus that, and I said it's disappointed because it's unsuccessful is tough to say because I feel like I've been able to do a lot and create a foundation, with my wife back in Stockton, California, and meet a lot of people, and so unsuccessful is a tough word to associate with golf because of what it has brought to me, my family, my relationships. So when I say disappointed, associating to that with sponsors exemptions and parlaying it to other stuff.
Disappointed is a much better word than I used, but I was just.
No, I get it. No, but it's super. I mean, you guys were talking about it with Brandel, with Tiger.
Yeah.
Like underperforming.
Underachieving.
Yeah. So I think it's obviously it's 2 different roads, not to compare myself with that, but it's kind of the same thing when you're asking someone like that on that level versus me coming out, and not that I had his success or a Ryan Moore's amateur success, but you're kind of going down that rabbit hole of comparing 2 words of it's kind of a yay or a nay or a yes or a no when you're talking about it. So yeah, for sure. Like it's at the end of the day, it's sports, right?
Yeah.
Anything
You've done
can
an
happen.
amazing job. You've had a great career no matter what happens. But one little bonus question I'm going to throw in here because we have talked about, Jay-Z, Beyonce. A lot of celebrities. Most famous person in your phone.
Probably nowadays, I'd probably still say Brady.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What's his number?
Yeah. And that's actually part of the deal.
What is
When you come on
it?
the
Do
show,
you have
you
his
to
new
give us a
Tampa
number.
number?
No, I'm pretty fortunate with playing in the AT&T, and like we go back to talk about this, Gabe, and what do you say? I mean, not that Jay-Z's not a big name, or Tom, or even like I've played in the pro-am with Gretz, but having played in the AT&T with Coach Belichick and Brady, like I played with them like 5 of 8 years, or something like that, and they're huge supporters. Colt's been in my foundation event. I mean, these guys are unbelievable. And I always, and I want to thank them, especially on this pod or something, is that I feel like the bigger the celebrity, the the more generous and faster they get back to you they are. I mean, if you send a note to like Wayne Gretzky, John Elway, Tom Brady, Coach Belichick, like Aaron Rodgers helped us out this year. You name these guys, I mean, they get it to you in 3 days.
That's awesome.
I mean, I'm talking like you send out a note. I'll never forget. I sent an email to Tom Brady and Coach Belichick, and I gave my parents' address. And 2 days later, it was like a Wednesday, and like Friday or Saturday, my parents text me or call me, hey, I have a package here, and it's a jersey of Brady signed Belichick and Gronkowski. Are you expecting this? I'm like, I felt like I just sent the email 2 minutes ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
awesome.
and Gretzky's done the same thing. So I can't thank those guys enough. And like I said, the bigger, the faster. I know that they probably emailed to someone else to take care of them, but for them to read us and kind of going back to the Jay-Z, Beyonce, and pinching yourself, you can't thank them enough. Like, you write them an email, you hope to get an email back or a text back in a week. These people are making shit happen in 2 days.
That's because 9 people in the world have their contact info.
That's
Well,
true.
still,
You happen to be one of them.
like how many people want their time too, though? Like,
All of them. But nobody knows how to get a hold of them.
If you are listening, send Golf Subpar some shit. We don't have a charity foundation, but we'll make use of it.
Yeah, we'll donate it to the Ricky Barnes Foundation.
Ricky, yeah, exactly. Let's
The
parlay
Pride of
it.
Stockton.
Well, Barnes, it's been an absolute blast.
You're
Thank
the
you so
best,
much, my
doggy.
man. We appreciate it. We've been waiting a long time to do this, so glad you could come on.
Thanks for having me.
And that was our man, Ricky Barnes. And, I mean, first off, what a life he lived after winning the USAM and turning pro.
I know. How bad do you feel about your life now? It's like, oh, I didn't really do anything cool. Dude, the story of them coming back into at Augusta National, going in and putting on like former champions jackets and pouring drinks. I was like, dude, I was worried. I was like, are you getting yourself in trouble
Yeah, I
right
didn't
now?
know
Are
how
you
that
like,
was gonna
are
go
you like
over.
snitching on yourself right now? I don't know if that's going to even like go over, if that's a problem, but the stories are wild, dude.
And then just gets to party with Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Oh, yeah,
LeBron.
Yeah, they're in town. They give me a call. We go hang out. Like, it's great. You forget what a big deal he was coming out, man.
But it was a lot of fun. He is obviously super talented. Played over 300 events on the PGA Tour. Had an unreal career. It's crazy he hasn't knocked off a victory. Hopefully he does. He said that's obviously very high on the list before he hangs up the golf spikes.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's had a hell of a run out there no matter how it ends. He's been out there a long time and done a good job. And he's also done very well off the golf course as well in terms of endorsements and things like that.
Smart man. That's
Yeah, he
for
pays
sure.
attention to a lot of things, that Rick.
That is true,
Very
but-
cultured.
But special thanks to Ricky for coming on the pod with us this week. But now it is time to get to my favorite part of the show, the gambling picks. Producer Mark, did I stretch my lead a little this week?
It's getting worse.
Well, Colt, you only had 3 people make the cut.
Mm-hmm. Oh, darn.
They all just happened to finish T3. So
all 3 of them did?
Webb, Siwoo Kim, Doc Redman, all made. And
Me so sorry.
Colt, you had Drew, you had 2 people make the cut, and they both made top 10, and Patrick Reed and Harold Varner, but that just didn't gain you anything. The lead now stands at $2.85 million.
This thing got out of hand so fast, bro. Like 2 weeks ago, I was like, all right, we're neck and neck, Clash of the Titans. Now it's like, all right, you have a 4-mile lead in a marathon.
I will say I'm very upset, though, with Siwoo Kim. I predicted him to shake his ass all over Sedgefield Country Club. He did, and then he showed his ass on the 6th tee when he hit driver. Stupidest play. Siwoo, you owe me $4,500. I had $100 on you at 45 to 1. I'm very upset with you. But that's a topic for another day. Let's get in to this week's picks because this thing's not over.
It's not over. It's just going to take a lot of good shit to happen to me.
You're correct about that. The playoffs are here. The purses are very, very big. You're going to need to go on a run. I'll be honest.
It's a good time to get hot right now.
It is. Now is
There's no more time.
Now is the time.
The pedal needs to go down.
All right. Well, we are at the TPC Boston this week for my number 1 pick in this week's draft. I'm going with a guy who has won here back in 2017. He's number 1 in the FedEx, number 1 in strokes gained approach, number 2 in strokes gained total. Hard to go against him. He's 12 to 1. Justin Thomas.
Yeah, number 1 in your hearts and number 1 pretty much everywhere else that
Yes.
it counts right there. Justin Thomas going off 12 to 1. Can't say anything about that pick other than I hope my guy beats him. And I'm also going with the other betting favorite because I got to play it close to the vest right now. Bryson DeChambeau, 12 to 1. I mean, dude, top 10, 5 of his last 7, 4th at the PGA, and has a win at this golf course. So that was Bryson 1.0 that won at this golf course. So 2.0, hopefully he can go because he needs to win this golf tournament or this thing's going to be dirt nap.
Well, it's
for
a
the
big hitter's
Slays.
golf course. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah,
And
send
there's
it over there and we'll see what happens. But
all right, you have
gotta
the
have
honor
him.
with the number 2
All right,
pick.
number 2, I'm going to go with the guy you had last week, which was the Nails pick, Webb Simpson. He's 28 to 1. 3rd last week, just another smooth 300K down there in North Carolina. Another, that makes sense now why his daughter's named Wyndham. I mean, that place is just straight annuity for him. Third in the FedEx Cup right now. I mean, just can't poke holes in anything about him. It was between him and Patrick Cantlay. I'm going Webb Simpson. I think he's
won at this
poised.
golf course too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'm going with the defending champ of this event. Even though it's at a different golf course, he's 6th in the FedEx, coming off a little 65-64 on the weekend, which you lost 5 shots to Jim Herman. But
play better.
That's for another
Play better.
But look, he's gone 13th at the PGA, 9th last week. He's trending in the right direction. 28-1, Patrick Reed.
Yeah, don't hate him. Had him last week. He did his job for me. Top 10.
Top 10 it for you?
Your team did a better job for you.
You just need to go like 1, 2, 3, 4.
I just need a win and a solo second and a solo third. Yeah, and I'll be right back in it.
Well, the third pick on my wonderful, glorious team, going off at 55-1. This guy, he just is under the radar so much. He's 25th in the world. 25th. That's ridiculous. 13th in the FedEx Cup. 55-1, Abraham Answer.
Yeah, he's a popular pick in this pod. I feel like one of us picks him every single week.
He's going to win at some point.
He hits the irons so good, too. Yeah. All right, Abe Answer, not a bad pick. First up for me, I'm going to go with a guy that you're very familiar with. I'm going to go Scotty Scheffler. I need upside out of these guys. I need guys with potential to hoist trophies at the end of the week. Last 3 events, 22nd, 15th, 4th at the PGA. So trending, also a big ball hitter, high ball hitter. I just got to have guys that can win. If they play great, I need them to be able to win. I think he's one of them.
All right. Good pick. My last pick, a guy that just loves this time of the year. He's a very streaky player. When he gets hot, he is ridiculously hot. Finished 2nd last week, shooting 20 under par for the week. A guy that should have won this golf tournament a few years ago. He's going off at 66-1. The 2014 FedEx Cup champion, Billy Horschel.
Yep. Horschel season right now. Horschel season. Damn near got on a playoff this past week, too, so can't hate that pick. All right, my last pick on Team Sleaze. Need another big week from this man. I'm going to go with Mr. Matthew Wolff. Got to go with the upside again. So last time we saw him 4th at the PGA at 4 rounds in the 60s. He's not the most consistent guy on the planet, but his good golf is really damn good, and if he goes out and has a week, I think he can be right there at the end, and I need him to be or else I'm done.
That's okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
My bag will be nice and heavy. Don't worry.
I was saying this weekend. If there is a guy you want to caddy for, it's you. So it's like, hey, there's fairway. All right, good shot. All right, here, which one of these irons do you want? Cool. Here's your putter. There'll be the lowest. I won't look for a ball the whole day. So.
Well, you never know. I might get a little wild that day.
Yeah, I'm carrying 3 balls. If you run out of those, loop's over.
All right. Well, coming this week, TPC Boston, the Northern Trust, Justin Thomas, Patrick Reed, Abe Answer, Billy Ho.
All right, Team Sleaze. Bryson DeChambeau, Webb Simpson, Scotty Scheffler, Matthew Wolff. Somebody bring the noise for the kid one time.
All right. Good luck, everyone. We'll talk to you on next week's Golf Subpar.